Maybe Forza Ferrari or bombastic BMW on the run down to the first corner. We find out now. What a great start from the Toyota down the middle, and a big crash at the back. It's one of the Minardis, I think. Where's Montoya? They're side by side going down the run. He's got a poor start. Barrichello's attacking him. Will he get second place? Yes, he will. He resists Jarno Trulli, who got a flyer, but advantage Schumacher into turn one. Trulli and Barrichello side by side, and that's Justin Wilson. I wonder if it was his car that flew up in the air.
We think it's Alonso ran into the back of Wilson. Alonso on the back of the grid after he spun yesterday, and look at this down into turn two. Schumacher having to cover the line. Montoya, will he get through there? They'll tangle if they're not careful. They're so close to tangling, and Michael Schumacher braves it out on the outside. Brilliant action on this first lap, and will he lose out to the fast starting Renault of Trulli? No, Trulli backs out of it. It's Barrichello that lost out. Also, he's back to fourth.
Well, that certainly wasn't in Montoya's game plan. He tried very, very hard there.
Renault stopped. Sorry, James. The Renault backed out of it. So the two McLarens flashed past. What's happened to Jarno Trulli? So Michael Schumacher, Montoya, and it's Barrichello, Raikkonen, and a very fast starting David Coulthard.
Well, Montoya said yesterday he was not afraid to attack Michael Schumacher here. There you can see Jarno Trulli. Something's gone wrong with that car. He suddenly lost drive, so perhaps engine hydraulics, who knows. But now Montoya has got to sit and think about the back of Michael Schumacher, who has a small 2 miles an hour advantage in a straight line. But Montoya's car is set up to protect the rear tyres more during the course of the race and to be more stable under braking. It's going to be cat and mouse on the tactics as well.
Looking forward to seeing a replay of that. Michael Schumacher knew he had to control this race. There is Barrichello having a go. He passed. No, he was up to the third because of the Renault's problem, but he may just get penalised for that. He didn't gain a place, but he sure did manage to not lose one. Michael Schumacher with a 0.7 of a second lead. Schumacher leads as Alonso comes in. It does look as though it was him that hit the back of the Jaguar of Justin Wilson. Let's look at the order then. Michael Schumacher at the end of lap one leads Montoya. Barrichello third. Raikkonen is fourth. Fifth is David Coulthard. Sixth, Panis. Seventh, Marc Genet. Eighth, Villeneuve. Ninth, Button, who has dropped from seventh on the grid, and Villeneuve. Bad news for him. I mean, he suddenly was looking pretty racy, wasn't he, in that early stage. But, Michael Schumacher now leads by 4.9 seconds, 39 laps remaining, 3.6 miles for each and every lap. This is the parabolic of corners. When Michael crashed on the out lap of the first Friday morning session here, but now he's pitting then. The leader pits.
Dives into the pit lane, race leader. This is a pretty important stop. We expect he's going to make two of them this afternoon, and this is one where Montoya now flashes past. He goes into the lead of the Grand Prix. Juan Montoya leads, but he had nearly 5 seconds disadvantage to Schumacher at the end of the last lap. Very, very tidy pit stop from Ferrari, and Michael Schumacher is back out again on track.
Well, he had a 4.9 lead. It's interesting that Montoya's stretched it a little bit further, but surely Montoya will pit at the end of this lap. His teammate was in 2 laps ago, so maybe we said he was very slow on the warm-up lap. He didn't spin his wheels away from the start-finish line. His pace hasn't been that hot, and maybe Montoya saved himself another lap of gas, or maybe this was his strategy. Nonetheless, surely he'll be in any time soon, but he'll be doing well to cut anything back of that 4.9 deficit.
Yeah, a lot of people coming into the pits now, making their stops. And at the moment, Jacques Villeneuve, who has yet to make a stop, is up into third place. Jenson Button was behind him in fourth. He's just come into the pits. So too has Heinz-Harald Frentzen. We've seen already Barrichello. So only Montoya of the front runners still to make a stop. Here he is. We ride on board with him.
Surely they are expecting him then. So he'll take the normal line through Parabolica. Then he'll start cutting in a little bit more right than normal, lining it up. It's a difficult pit lane speed limiter here because you've got a straight run in from max speed straight in to this 80 km/h zone. And there he goes then for the yellow board. He's got to be out in something like 7.5 if he's going to do anything special here. Down to Ted.
This was his planned strategy. There he goes. Good stop. 8.4. Montoya was complaining of bagloads of oversteer. So what they've done is taken out some front wing to try and give him a balanced car for this stint.
Okay, so they can adjust the front wing quite easily. Michael retakes the lead of the Grand Prix then, but Montoya exit still ahead of Barrichello, but Barrichello will be charging down there at 220 miles an hour, and Montoya's got to sweep out to take the normal racing line. So at the moment it looks pretty much status quo, doesn't it, after those first stops. So Villeneuve's also pitted from what was third place, and the only man not to pit at the moment then Baumgartner in the Jordan and Fisichella in the sister car.
So Montoya did not have as big a fuel margin as perhaps many had thought. Just one lap more then of fuel in the car.
And we'll restore those as soon as possible. But this battle between first and second continues to intensify as Montoya wrings the neck of the Williams.
Ryan, interesting comments from Martin Brundle about just that, the fact that Montoya is driving completely differently to Michael at the moment, whether it's the setup, whether it's the style of the driver. Do you find that interesting to watch when you look at these guys?
Yeah, well, I think Schumacher is definitely a lot more technical. He knows a lot more about setting up the car and stuff. But I think Montoya's just out there to wring the neck of his car, and you know, it looks like he's really doing that at the moment.
He's very good at that. He's a classic, Neil. He's made some comments over this course of this season which make you wonder sometimes. I know he's a bit blasé occasionally, but he sort of leaves it up to the crew and doesn't admit to knowing much at all about the car at times, does he?
No, he's kind of a shoulder shrugger sometimes, but by gee, he can drive hard.
Absolutely.
Keep in mind he's had 2 pole positions at this racetrack, and he was the winner in 2001. As we take you back to ITV, Martin and James for the Italian Grand Prix.
Lap 29 of 53 here at the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. Jos Verstappen there coasting into the pitch, but look how close Juan Montoya now is to the back of Michael Schumacher. He's clawed the gap down over the last few laps, and it's now under a second as they cross the line to begin lap 30. Verstappen, you see in the pits, under braking there into the first chicane. Look how much Montoya is able to close up to the back of the Ferrari of Michael Schumacher. Then as the Ferrari accelerates away, the gap grows again, a concertina effect. But I'll tell you something, these two guys are both absolutely on the limit. The World Championship is at stake, this race is at stake, so much is at stake, and they are flying.
Yes, when I said he's carrying too much rear wing, I didn't explain that properly. It's too much rear wing for a very good high top speed, but it's certainly helping him under braking, as we explained at the beginning of the programme. And now he's got the balance he wants. Now they were able to change that front wing at the pit stop. Montoya is attacking the racetrack. Michael can just about respond, but I haven't seen any sign of Schumacher getting ragged, have you? He's pushing hard, but he's not ragged at the moment. It's still Montoya looking the one working the hardest, but he's got the fastest car. Louise is down with Jenson Button.
Jenson, Jeff Willis has been keeping us updated on your gearbox problems as the race has been going on, but at what point did you realise it was going to become a terminal problem?
Well, as soon as you lose one gear, it's normally a problem, because you start stripping the others as you go through the box, and I lost second gear, then first gear, which on this circuit is pretty difficult anyway, because you've got 2 turns
Here this afternoon, as into the pits comes the Williams.
And it's Montoya that's pitted. Montoya pits then. So from what was second place, here we go. This is a crucial stop. World Championships are going to be hanging on these pit stops this year now. He's ready to go, but the fuel isn't yet. Solid stop, not spectacular. Panis also pitted in the Toyota at that time. So now, when will Michael Schumacher stop? They must have short-filled Montoya slightly then on that first round of stops.
Well, we heard Jeff Willis.
There is the answer. Schumacher in the pits now. Did he get held up in any way behind that Minardi? Because the gap was 1.2 seconds before this all started for the second scheduled stops of the afternoon. Oh, it seems like an eternity when you're sitting there, but Michael's so calm, not revving, not pushing to get away, and Raikkonen pits from second place. Ted.
Well, here we go. Kimi Raikkonen was about 2 seconds ahead of Rubens Barrichello when Rubens pitted. Is he going to jump him on this one? It's going to be touch and go. Fuel going in. Kimi's on the limiter. Let's see what's happened. Oh, 9.5. Where's Montoya and Michael, though?
Well, Montoya's side by side with Michael on the road to the first corner, and he's got him. Juan Montoya has got ahead of Michael Schumacher through the second round of pit stops. Absolutely incredible for the BMW Williams driver, and the TV only picked it up right at the last minute. We thought he perhaps had a margin to do it, and he's done it. He's got ahead.
I think Michael got held up down there on the way in behind the Minardi, and noticed there was a Minardi trundling out behind him in the pits as well. Did he get held up? no criticism of Minardi there. They're entitled to do exactly what they need to do for their pit stop. But clearly, with traffic, not a spectacular in-lap, Montoya hasn't had brilliant laps, so Michael lost some time somewhere, no doubt about it, James. Now he is steering at the rear wing of the Williams. And it's not always indicative, but I'm sure they're pretty relieved to be able to drop 2.5 seconds a lap now and just coast towards the last sort of 6-7 laps of this Grand Prix as they have done. Now the final one is in front of them. They've got a 7-second advantage. Barrichello maintaining a 1.1 advantage over Raikkonen. So it's a pretty perfect day for Ferrari, isn't it? If they could have just got Barrichello ahead of Montoya, it would have been absolutely perfect. And nonetheless, Michael Schumacher crucially kept the lead, didn't he, on that first lap. That was a key part of the afternoon, so he could stretch it out and make Montoya be the man who had to do the work. He had track position, controlled the race, and never looked flustered, even when Montoya was really closing him down, sometimes 3/4 of a second per lap. Looking forward to the press conference to understand why, what broke Montoya's rhythm, spirit, or whatever it was.
Just listen then to the crowd as Michael Schumacher comes out of the Parabolica. Yes! He punched the air yesterday when he got pole position. That was part of the job done. But this afternoon, he has absolutely done the business. He's fended off Juan Montoya. And let's face it, it was a stiff challenge. Michael Schumacher wins at Monza, the 4th time he has won here in a Ferrari. And it's his 50th victory for the Italian mark. And what an important one.
Yes, it's win number 69 overall for him. And I think you're right, James, one of the more important ones. I mean, he really has been under pressure. Lapped at the last Grand Prix, nowhere off the pace, totally off the pace, really. Looking, probably one of his most lacklustre Grand Prix, actually, the Hungarian Grand Prix 3 weeks